Kia ora, welcome to the Eye in the Sky Show podcast. So, yesterday when I did my video about Bill Vale and Ascension psychosis, I said that the reason why he's still dealing with this is because he hasn't received the correct help to help him get out of the underworld stage of his ascension. And what happens is that when you're having an ascension and you're in the underworld, until you get the help that you need from the right ascended master to help you deal with all the demons in your closet, to help you break out of the underworld and get into the new stage, which is the earth stage, you have to. You get stuck, basically. You get stuck having to repeat the same karmic cycles over and over and over again. With ascensions, history will always repeat itself. Your karmic lessons will always come up, and you will have to deal with them over and over and over again. You get stuck on a karmic loop until the lessons have been learned, and then you are purified from them, and your soul has been lightened enough that you elevate to the next stage, and you keep elevating and elevating and elevating, hence why it's called an ascension, rising, to rise above. So the more you let go and the more karmic debt you pay off, the lighter your soul becomes and the higher your soul rises. So he's stuck in a karmic loop because he's not learning the lessons that he's needed to learn in order to purify and cleanse his soul enough to be able to rise above his current psychological trauma and situations in his life, to be able to complete the rest of his ascension. What happens after this for the people who are stuck and don't get the help they need, and it doesn't appear that this is happening with him, but it does happen. Kurt Cobain is a prime example. Van Hoff is another example. Even Elvis is an example of what happens when you are, a rising star, or, a person on an ascending path, and you let your demons and the demons of your past and the temptations of the devil come along and put all the burdens of the universe on you to drag you down to stop you from reaching your full potential. And so then you end up with like health problems, because what happens is when your soul starts to deteriorate, you become antimatter. You literally become dark matter, and you start to deteriorate and degenerate, spiritually, mentally, and then physically. Your body will always give you the signs and indications that your soul is getting ready to die, that your soul is that the light inside of you that makes up a part of your atomic structure, of your soul, is getting ready to fade out. And it always shows on your physical body as things like weight gain, um, bad skin, hair falling out, can't sleep, headaches, nausea, chronic illness, chronic fatigue, things like fibromyalgia, autoimmune diseases, diabetes, cancers. Then you take medications for them or drink alcohol, and then you become addicted, and you can like get angry and act out and do things that are morally wrong, but you do them anyway because it gives you a rush of dopamine. It makes you feel good to do it, like fetishes and that sort of thing, even though it is harmful for your body, your mind, and your soul to do it. And that's you being stuck in the underworld. And because, the underworld has like the deepest levels, to the point where like you end up in hell, basically. Hell is hell on earth, that saying, hell on earth. Um, it exists, and that is when you are stuck in such a bad place mentally, spiritually, and physically, psychologically, and physically, sexually, emotionally, financially, all of the illies. You end up in such a bad place that you either just totally give in to the addiction or totally give away your life and end up, crossing over. But people need to understand that when that happens, when you basically hand your life over to death, you're not freed from your burdens. You just carry that debt over. The debt collector follows you everywhere you go until you pay those karmic debts off. You do not get eternal peace. We pay off our karmic debt. Like my life has been me paying off the karmic debt for my ancestors. So now they have been able to all cross over and, you know, enjoy eternal life, which is resurrection, being able to be reborn. We get stuck in like a purgatory. Our souls get stuck in a purgatory until, and we have to just keep repeating the cycles and helping our ancestors. You know, when you feel people standing beside your bed when you sleep, if it's not your conscious self, it's your ancestors trying to help you raise awareness to your situation, to your life, to your ascension, to your descension, to your rising, to your deterioration. They are there to help you figure it out and get a clue, basically, because when you have an ascension and you complete your ascension and you are told by your gods and ancestors you have done it, you have passed, you have graduated, you have ascended, that means that all the ancestors who were stuck in purgatory, being forced to come and help the ones that they chose to do the ascension trials. When you graduate, they then get to cross over and they get to have rebirths. You know, when you see a baby born and you say, oh, they're a wise soul, that's because they would have been an ancestor, somebody who was stuck in purgatory, who has had to learn the wisdom of the ages through trying to help various generations of selected family members have their ascensions to try and get them to pay off their ancestral karmic debts. And then when they're finally released and they're allowed to be reborn, they come back into a newborn baby who was born with like the wisdom of the ages sort of thing, you know. So when you see people saying, oh, that baby's wise beyond their years, or they look like they have the soul of an old man, that's because they are ancestrally that old. They were not allowed to be reborn until somebody paid off their ancestral or karmic debt. So that could be the same with Bill. Look, I would love to meet him. If I could just like have an hour with him, I swear to God, I could make all the difference in the world to that man. So yeah, once you step out of the underworld and you go into the earth stage, that's when you start working out and changing your job, changing your locations, and that's essentially what he did. When his marriage ended, you know, he tried to start again and he moved back to Texas and got a new job until he could figure himself out in that. But then the fear of what he witnessed with that woman doing the exorcism triggered his inner demons that he didn't know were there, and now they're haunting him, and they will keep haunting him and plaguing him until he is able to release his burdens and let all his grief and his traumas go, to alleviate his soul from the baggage that it's had to carry. Because, you know, we are one soul, but we are made up of snippets of every person that we've ever been throughout, you know, the history of the universe. Even like bananas and pigs and you know, all animals and plants and minerals. If you've got the mineral or the genetic cells in your body of anything else, like, you know, how we're 7% banana and this orangutan and we've got so much dog and so much pig and blah blah blah, we carry that with us, you know, like we carry all of that memory with us. That's what natural telepathy is. That's why Indigenous people can talk to the animals and can talk to trees and that, because we remember when we used to be a tree. And it sounds nuts, but we know for a fact that when you look at the genetics of a human person, when you look at the cells, we carry cells of animals and plants and flowers and fruits and nuts and minerals from other planets and that. If every single thing, every single mineral that we have is minerals on other planets in our solar system, because we all came from the one big bang. We all came from that one explosion. And then through bacteria and cells migrating and integrating and spreading, you know, we became various things, like how we started out as a single cell, and then when water came and, you know, we became jellyfish and then dolphins, and, you know, we got legs like axolotls, we got legs and started walking on land and became like lizards and rodents and monkeys and, you know, various mammals, and then apes, and, you know, then all of it, you know, humans, and that's the evolution of man. But we came from the same rocks that Earth is formed from, and like Mars and Neptune and Jupiter, we have the same gases, the same minerals, all of it, because we were all at one point the same. But that's what evolution is that, evolution is biological. It can only happen biologically, which means untouched, unaffected by man, no interference from anything. It has to be organic and happen biologically, and then we are expected to figure it out as we go. It's like survival of the fittest. Except at the moment, over the last couple of 100 years, the fittest are being suppressed and dying out because they're seen as a threat to the ones who want all the power and the money and the control. And so you have people taking these jobs that they love, doing what they love, where they're being absolutely enslaved by debt and, the need to work jobs that they hate, that are slowly killing them, where they don't have the time to write the songs that they want to do, or do the paintings that they want to do, or write the novels that they want to write, or work on their formulas and their inventions and stuff like that, because they're a slave to the system in order to get the bills paid and that. And so it slowly kills off their souls. And then what happens is they go to places where there's perceived paranormal activity, or they have these big life events happen where they have these divorces and stuff, and then next thing they're triggered into a trip to the underworld, and because they don't know how to get out of it, and they haven't had that light bulb moment go off that's made them figure out what's happening to them enough that it appeases their soul to raise them above their current situation, they get stuck, and the karmic cycle just keeps repeating and looping until they figure it out. So it's like do or die. You either do it and figure it out, or your soul begins to die. And then the part of you, that is here to be you, becomes antimatter, and you slowly break down and go back into the earth and deteriorate and degenerate and become atoms again into the soil. And then 100 years later, your atoms will be picked up in the atoms of everybody else on earth, and you have to start your evolutionary cycle all over again. So there's weak points in atoms, and you become the weak point in the atom that makes up your atomic structure of your soul, until you figure it out to become, the brightest part of the atom, till eventually your atom, your atomic structure, is one big bright glowing light, and there's no dim dark parts anywhere in the genetic structure of your atomic cell. So I just just had to do that because I'm working on my podcast and that, so I keep thinking of things that I want to talk about, and then because it's important, because I'm trying to help lives and save lives, and educate people about the truth about the occult and how it's nothing to fear. Everything has a light and a dark side, and I am trying to show people the beautiful side of what it is that people like me can do, that what Indigenous people can do, what we can do with our knowledge of our connection with the planets, and by following the stars and the moon cycles and the essence of the sun and the planetary placements and the songs of the universe, and that, and how the songs of the universe give Papatūānuku the most incredible vibration when it hits the right frequency, and then what she can do to heal everybody on earth. This is what Indigenous people are here for. It's just I was made to be a little bit different, because I had to be the one to have the mouth big enough to say that the way we're being treated is unacceptable, because we have gifts that are important that are being drowned out and silenced, and I can't have that, because there are too many beautiful musicians and writers and artists and creators and inventors and mathematicians and scientists and designers and engineers and architects out there that are still yet to create the most beautiful magic in the world for future generations to enjoy, that they will never get to enjoy the longer they aren't heard and the more they are kept silent. So that's why I'm here. Okay, so have a beautiful day. Hold your head up and know you are loved. Ka kite anō. Mwah.